Okay. So first thing you have to do with questions like 1 and 2 is you have to figure out where the triangle needs to go. And you do need to draw the triangle. On your assessment on Friday, there will definitely be part of the question that is draw the triangle correctly. So got to make sure we can do that. So guys, where is cosine positive and sine negative? Which quadrant does that happen in? Or yes, you are correct. So remember, when you draw the triangle, the right angle is always on the x-axis, and the theta is right there by the origin. Okay, cosine is 3/5. That means adjacent is 3, hypotenuse is 5. You have to find the other side of the triangle. What is that other side of the triangle? Yeah, it ends up being -4 because the y value is going down. Be really careful with your signs there. Make sure you've got the right thing negative. Yeah.
So how did you find this?
How did I know that quadrant?
No, how did you find this?
Oh, so that's a Pythagorean triple. You could use the Pythagorean theorem if you needed to. Remember a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 3, 4, 5, common right triangle stuff. Yeah. Buried in your geometry brain somewhere. Maybe. Yeah. So cosine, I know is the x value, right? And sine, I know is the y value. So I'm literally just thinking through the quadrants. Okay, first quadrant, x is positive, y is positive. Second quadrant, x is negative, y is positive. Third quadrant, both negative. Fourth quadrant, oh, that's where it is, where the cosine is positive and the sine.
Actually, the sine was
Hold on, once that goes away.
Yes, sine was on.
Because it says right here, sine is less than 0.
Oh.
Do you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to put those two pieces together. Yep.
Is the hypotenuse ever negative?
No, good question. Your hypotenuse will never be negative. The sides can be negative because they're telling you directionally where you're going, but the hypotenuse is just that length from the origin to the end, okay? All right, so this question was asking what's the tangent of theta. So I go back to my triangle. I know tangent is opposite over adjacent. So I should get -4/3 for that one. How do we do? You get there? Kind of?
That's the answer.
Okay. Does it make sense now why it's down there?
I think so.
Okay. We'll do another one of these after, yeah, just to make sure. All right, and guys, the second one was a little trickier. Oh, go ahead. Yep, because part of like what I grade will be your picture of the triangle.
Okay.
Yep. So hopefully that's like easy points, but hopefully that doesn't get you the B, right? You're gonna get an A this time, I know. All right, guys, number 2, I gave you secant. If you don't like secant, you could rewrite that as cosine. If secant is -5, that means cosine is -1/5. Does that make sense? How I can do that? They're just reciprocals. -5, I can put that over 1 and then flip it to make it cosine. Okay, so this time the quadrant I'm looking for is where cosine, or your x value, is negative, and sine, your y value, is positive. So where does that happen? What quadrant? 2, yes. Let's draw. So I know I've got the 1 and the 5 for my adjacent and hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is never negative, okay? The 1 will be the negative value there, and hopefully that makes sense. You're going to the left, so the x value should be negative. How do I find the other side? Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so -1 squared, and then I don't care what you call it, y squared, b squared, a squared, whatever. Can't write with the edge here, equals 5 squared. So 1 plus y squared is 25. What is the square root of 24? What is it? Yes, 2 root 6. Good.
What's the answer?
No, that's that side. Is everybody okay with getting to the 2 root 6 part? Okay. Then I have to find the cosecant, which means hypotenuse over opposite. So I'm kind of running out of room, guys. I'm going to go over here. So that's 5 over 2 root 6. And then I have to rationalize it. So your final answer should be 5 root 6 over 12. Calvin, you got it. Again, that was a little trickier. Good job. Good job. Okay. We'll do one more later to practice these triangle things together. But anybody? Okay, the unit circle quiz is a separate, you've got the answer key for it. It is just the unit circle. This is absolutely on your assessment on Friday. Skill 4 assessment on Friday. Yes.
Will you have access to the unit circle for the assessment?
I can give you a blank one if you want to fill one in. But yeah, you can't like use a previous. All right, other questions on 1 or 2? Okay. Yes, we will. Let's go through 3, 4, 5, and 6. And guys, I'll show you the shortcuts for these today too. What did you get for sine of 3 pi over 4? Yes, root 2 over 2. Tangent of 5 pi over 6. Negative root 3 over 3. Yeah, okay. What about cotangent of 11 pi over 6? Good, negative root 3. Secant of 4 pi over 3. Negative 2, yes. From your unit circle? This is why you have to know your unit circle so that you can actually answer this. Okay. Work on digging it out from your brain. All right, guys, shortcuts. Let's do those next, and then we will do another triangle practice problem here. Okay, anytime we have tangent of something over 6. So like pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, 7 pi over 6, 11 pi over 6. If you see tangent of an over 6, you have to figure out positive or negative based on the quadrant. But it will always end up being root 3 over 3. So you don't have to go through the hassle of y over x, flipping, multiplying, rationalizing with those same numbers over and over. It will always end up root 3 over 3 if it's an over 6. If you do tangent of an over 6.
No, I get it. I want to know how we're in the overs.
Aren't they the same x and y values at every over 6? Right? Remember when I color-coded it, when we created it, how those were all, I think they were green for you guys?
Same x and y value.
So pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, 7 pi over 6, 11 pi over 6. Julian, do you see it? Like, that they're the same x and y? The signs will change, positive and negative, but isn't it always an x value of root 3 over 2 and a y value of 1/2?
Yes.
Okay. So if I put y over x with the same numbers every time, I should get the same answer every time. Okay. Tangent of the over 4. So pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, all of those. Again, you have to determine the sign based on the quadrant. That will always be 1.
That makes sense now. Yes, you will.
Okay. Tangent of the over 3s. Always root 3. Now these shortcuts also work for cotangent, but remember cotangent is x over y, so things are actually flipped here. The root 3 over 3, that happens for cotangent of over 3s, because again the x and y get flipped. A 1, that is cotangent of the over 4s. Root 3 is the cotangent of the over 6s. So guys, jot that down, write it on the back of your circle if you want to, somewhere, so that you have it. And then let's do a couple just to make sure you guys understand how it works.
So, minus root 3 would be also cotangent of 6.
Yes.
How come this is ever straight?
Because the x and y are switched, yeah. So guys, if I asked you for tangent of 5 pi over 6, first, is it going to be positive or negative? Negative, because you're in quadrant 2. And then I go, okay, that's an over 6. I know the answer is root 3 over 3. Okay? If you understand it and can use these, it is so much faster when we get to the time trig quizzes. You will actually finish them, okay? All right, what about cotangent of 5 pi over 4? Is it 1 or negative 1? Which quadrant is 5 pi over 4 in? Third quadrant, so you've got a negative over a negative, so positive 1, yes, okay.
Not for the right reason, but I was.
How about cotangent of 11 pi over 6? Negative root 3. Figure out the quadrant, your sign, look at the answer. One more, how about tangent of 2 pi over 3?
Negative 1. Not negative, but yes, negative.
Negative root 3.
And if it's not denominator 3, 4, or 6, just do normal. Or
Yeah, all you'd have left is then the quadrantals, so those are either 0 or undefined. Those are easier, like there's no rationalizing, there's no fraction within fraction.
So like, if you got, say cotangent of 11 over 8, which doesn't.
That's not from your unit circle, so I wouldn't ask you that.
Oh.
These are the only things that happen. Don't overthink the unit circle. Don't overthink it.
I overthink everything that is possible.
All right, guys, and then one more round of shortcuts. This one's a little less time-saving, but still helpful. So for sine or cosine, the only answers you can get are 1/2 root 3 over 2, root 2 over 2, 1, and 0. Right? Like those are the only x and y values around your circle. Obviously negatives could come into play, but as far as values go, those are them. So when you flip them to turn them into either cosecant or secant, no, that's root 2 over 2. Is that what you're talking about? Values from your circle there, root 2 over 2. Okay, so when you flip things, what is 1/2 flipped? 2. Okay, that one's easy, right? Now root 3 over 2, instead of flipping and rationalizing that over and over and over, you will always get to root 3 over 3. Root 2 over 2, when you flip and rationalize, every time is just root 2. Some of these you maybe have gotten familiar with already. 1 flipped is easy, it is 1. But what is 0 flipped? Yes, undefined, good. So not quite as time-saving-ish as the tangent-cotangent ones, but still helpful and should hopefully speed things along. You shouldn't actually have to rationalize as you go. You should get to know the values well enough that you speed. Okay. Let's try. Oh, sure. Maybe. There we go. Good. Okay. How about one more triangle problem now, and then we'll do some practice, okay, on the trig values. Let's say, how about I give you tangent of theta is equal to -5/3. Sine of theta is greater than 0. And I want you guys to find cosine of theta. Okay, so try this one. Back to like what you were doing on 1 and 2. Be careful of your signs.
What formula do you use to find cosine? Do you use cosine equals x or adjacent over hypotenuse?
Adjacent over hypotenuse. So only if we're talking unit circle specific can it be just the x. Yep. we doing, guys? Check in with each other.
It's not unison.
Which quadrant did you draw your triangle in?
4.
2.
Wait.
Give you another minute here, but it should be a second quadrant triangle.
Does it matter which one's opposite and adjacent?
The opposite has to be opposite. Because you're talking about that specific theta, that angle, so the side opposite of that angle, and that's a very specific value. It's not 30, 60, 90.
I know, but just trying to identify who gets it.
But what is theta? Is that 30 or 60 in your mind?
47.
Julian, please stop with the random things.
47 is a cool number.
Don't tell me quadrant 7.
There are 7. This doesn't make any sense.
All right, guys, let's draw our picture. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. Which is actually negative, the 5 or the 3? The 3, yes. It doesn't matter in the fraction where that's written. You know that's a positive value and that's a negative value. Okay. Now, the hypotenuse is not 4. I was mean by picking 3 and 5 for these two numbers because it looks like a Pythagorean triple, but your hypotenuse has to be bigger. So what is the length of the hypotenuse? Root 34. Lovely.
All right, can
It doesn't simplify.
we quickly, like, get Mr. Miana over here and restate why maybe that happened? Oh, I see. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the
Pythagorean theorem, yes.
Yes.
So then cosine of theta is going to be adjacent, which is negative 3 over hypotenuse, which is root 34. And once you rationalize, you get negative 3 root 34 over 34. Lovely answer. All right, guys, how did we do? A little better on that one? Yeah, remembering things? Okay. All right, what I'm going to work on first is this worksheet. Yes.
So cosine is x, right?
Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. It can't be just the x value because the hypotenuse is just 1.
Then it's just that's something else.
Well, the negative 3 is the x, but it's x over r.
Oh, and then the unit circle is 1, so
That's why it's just.
yeah, that's and everywhere else it's not.
Guys, work on this worksheet together. This one is all unit circle.
Even this entire class, what all we can say is
So guys, the first one is saying tangent of theta, and theta given to you at 60 degrees. That's like pi over 3. So what is the tangent of pi over 3? Your shortcut, what is it? That's if it's over 6. Just for 3. I always remind myself that you need the 2 3s to get to the over 6. So 3 for the 3. It's like not mathematically sound at all, but that's just how I remember it. So guys, you might want your shortcuts out while you're working on these, your unit circle. When you finish this one, let me know. There is a key up here too if you want to check anything.
It is just very cool.
You look tired today, Kara. You okay? Oh, yes. You're still in like a food coma? It's hard too if you travel or have family stay with you or anything, because it just, your sleeping routine, everything is just off, and then trying to get back into the school routine. It's not easy.